Took me a while to get to this one, but it's better late than never. What's going on, everyone? This is Josh, aka Future Filmmaker 3940, where we do film reviews, TV reviews, music reviews, the rankings, top 10s, and all that. I am here to finally give my thoughts on the 6th installment in this long-running franchise and the prequel to its 2007 film, Bumblebee. Bumblebee, this is the 6th film in the Transformers franchise, directed not by Michael Bay. This is directed by Travis Knight, who directed Kubo and Two Strings. This is his first live-action film, written by Christina Hodson, based on Transformers storyline of the same name by Hasbro. Stars Hailee Steinfeld, John Cena, Jorge Lendeborg, John Ortiz, Jason Drucker, Pamela Adlon, Angela Bassett, Justin Theroux, Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime, and Dylan O'Brien as the voice of Bumblebee. And what the plot of Bumblebee is, at the beginning of the movie, we see the Autobots, who's led by Optimus Prime. They are getting ready to leave their home world, Cybertron, as they are outnumbered by their enemies, the Decepticons. The Decepticons ambushes them during the evacuation. And Optimus, he sends a young scout who goes by the name of B-127 to Earth to set up a base of operations where the Autobots can meet again. He reaches Earth in 1987, crash lands in California during a military training exercise led by Lieutenant Jack Burns, who thinks that he's a hostile invader. They chase him down into a forest. He's then ambushed by Blitzwinger. Blitzwinger tears out his vocal cords and damages him for refusing to betray Optimus. He manages to kill Blitzwing before collapsing of his wounds and transforming into a Volkswagen Beetle. Cut to Charlie Watson, and she's a teenage outcast on the verge of being 18. She's traumatized by the death of her father and resentful of her mother for remarrying. She finds B-127 in a scrapyard belonging to her uncle, who gives the car to her as a birthday present on the condition that she fixes it up. So then she takes him home, basically revives him and becomes friends with him, and nicknames him Bumblebee, teaches him how to communicate through the radio. While that's going on, Charlie's also trying to find her peace in the world, and she quickly learns that he's not ordinary yellow Volkswagen. So Charlie and Bumblebee, they form a bonding friendship, but however the two are soon find themselves hunted by a government agency known as Sector 7, led by Burns. And as they run from society, the two learns that B is not the only Transformer on Earth, and that the others may not be as friendly. That's pretty much the plot of Bumblebee, pretty much. Going into Bumblebee, I was very excited to see how Bumblebee was going to be, because Bumblebee, he is one of my favorites of the Transformers characters, besides Optimus Prime, and I always found Bumblebee interesting. I wanted to know how could he talk through radios? Who was the very first owner? But also I was a little worried, because if you couldn't tell in my 2017 playlist, I did not care for Transformers The Last Knight at all. That is the worst Transformers movie. However, I do like the first Transformers. Revenge of the Fallen is heavily flawed, but I do like Revenge of the Fallen. Dark of the Moon is a better film than Revenge of the Fallen. In Age of Extinction, while I do like Age of Extinction, the main problem I have is that that film is just too long. But this movie, I was really curious about to see how they were going to work. And also, Michael Bay was not going to be directing it. That also made me very happy. And also, we have Travis Knight, who directed a animated film from 2016 called Kubo and the Two Streams, which I love that film. And also, another reason why I was excited to see it was because it has Oscar nominee and singer Hailee Steinfeld in it. And Hailee Steinfeld, I love her as an actress ever since Pitch Perfect 2. Then her first film she was in was True Grit, which she was really great. She won an Oscar for that film. Should have been won an Oscar for that movie. Pitch Perfect 3, I didn't mind her in that. She was barely lethal. She was really good as the lead in that. The Age of 17 is my favorite film of hers so far. And Ender's Game, which I do have, I think is pretty underrated. So, in the case of this movie, I was very excited to see. And how is Bumblebee? I gotta say it. This is the second best Transformers movie since the 2007 film. I absolutely loved everything about Transformers The Last Night. Transformers Bumblebee. Let me get into the positives first. First of all, my biggest positive with Bumblebee was the characters. I really liked the characters in this movie. They actually felt like characters. They didn't feel like cardboard cutouts like most of the Transformers films. Like I said, I didn't mind Sam Witwicky or Mark Wahlberg's characters in the other films, but Charlie Watson, I really liked her character. Hailee Steinfeld did a fantastic job playing the character of Charlie. She shows a lot of emotion. She shows a lot of heart into the film, and you can easily tell Hailee, she doesn't pick a bad project. She only picks movies that she has faith are going to be good, and that's why one of the things I really liked about Hailee Steinfeld as an actress, besides she has a very cheery personality, and she likes doing things for her fans, and the fans responds very positively. And she was great in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse as Spider-Gwen, and I would love to see her get her own film with Spider-Woman, which they're working on. Sony is, but when it comes to Charlie Watson, I really liked her character. You can see that she is an outcast. She is resentful of her own mom for remarrying. She is very hurt by the loss of her dad, and she feels lonely in the world. And which leads me into the second positive, which is the friendship between Charlie and Bumblebee. I thought that was very well handled. The way Christina Hodson wrote the script is very well handled, is very well executed, is very well directed, is well written, especially when it comes to the friendship between Bumblebee and Charlie Watson. I thought that was very amazing there. And there's a lot of moments. It felt like you were watching The Iron Giant, which also is a movie similar to this, where it has a human character and a robot being friends. It felt like you were watching The Iron Giant, just done with Bumblebee and Hailee Steinfeld. And I have to say, the way that was handled, I was very impressed with that aspect of the film. But another thing I was very impressed with was the acting. The acting was great from everyone else, especially Jorge Lendeborg, who I do remember him in Love, Simon. He was in Love, Simon. So any of you who want to know who that one guy was, who's familiar, that was the guy from Love, Simon. The rest of the actors who plays the brother, Jason Drucker, Pamela, Adlon, and the rest of the actors, they were all really great here. And John Cena, I know people, they don't like John Cena at all, especially what he's done to one of the Bella twins. But you people y'all gotta let that go. That wasn't really gonna work in the first place. But John Cena, he was great as the lieutenant, even though he's playing the usual. We need to get Bumblebee. We need to get Bumblebee. I want to kill Bumblebee. He did great. And the voice acting of the Transformers, you got Peter Cullen. Always great hearing him as Optimus Prime. Nobody else can play Optimus Prime as good as Peter Cullen. Dylan O'Brien from the Maze Runner films, he does the voice of Bumblebee at the beginning of the film, which that surprised me. And also, the other actors, you have Angela Bassett as the voice of Shatter, Justin Theroux as the voice of Dropkick. You got also Blitzwing, Shockwave, Soundwave, and then you also have one of the RC twins from Revenge of the Fallen, Wheeljack, Cliffjumper, Ratchet. It just has fewer Autobots than the other Transformers movies, because the other Transformers movies, there were a lot of Autobots and you didn't really get time to focus on them. So you have good acting from voice actors and human acting on both sides. I just have to say, the directing in this movie by Travis Knight is great. I love the direction in this movie. He really did a great job in directing. I thought his direction is way better than Michael Bay's direction when it comes to the emotional moments, when it comes to the scenes with the robots, and when it comes to the way he shoots the action scenes and the cinematography. There's no shaky cam. You don't just quick cuts, quick editing. You can see what's going on. You get to see every single part of the robot action. And the cinematography in this movie is really great in here. I really love the cinematography and love the editing. And when it comes, again, going back to Hailee Steinfeld, one of the my biggest concerns comes to the character Charlie is that these Transformers movies has the habit of objectifying all the female women. I don't mind seeing women in the Transformers movie, but that is basically my problem. I do feel like it's sexist. I do feel like Michael Bay, you focus a little bit too much on objectifying the women in the other Transformers movies. You did it with Megan Fox. You did it with Rosie Huntington-Whiteley in Dark of the Moon. You did it with Nicola Peltz in Age of Extinction. And you did it to Laura Haddock and Isabella Monier in The Last Night. Here, they don't do that here. While there are a few sexualized jokes, it feels pretty much like a different Transformers movie, which is the biggest positive I can say. Also, I really like the score, the music in this movie. The music by Dario Marianelli, who did music for V for Vendetta. I love the score in this movie. Steve Jablonsky doesn't do the score, but I really like the score here. It's very, very different from the other Transformers films. And I like the soundtrack choices too, especially the main single for the film, written by Hailee Steinfeld, Back to Life. I've listened to it more than once now, and I love the song Back to Life. It is Hailee Steinfeld, she wrote a great song, yeah. And it fits very well for the film as well. And I like the inspiration that she had for the film, because as they were doing the movie, they asked her, do she have any ideas for a song, and she did say in an interview it was nice having a film of her own and a song in her own film. So that was pretty fun to see. Cool. And Hailee Steinfeld's music, you can't go wrong with her music. The visual effects are also really great. I really love the special effects as well, and I really enjoy every single part of the effects. It was very well handled, it was very well done, and just nothing looks dated, nothing looks bad. For the budget that this movie had, is not $200 million. The budget is $100 to $137 million, and it's doing great at the box office. So, which we all knew it was going to be a success. And also, this movie has a lot of emotional weight and a lot of heart to it. And it brings a fun and a sense of wonder back to this franchise, because after Transformers The Last Night, it was not looking really good for this franchise. But I really enjoy what they were doing in this film. Now, as much as I do like this film, I do have a few complaints. It's not really anything major, but there are just these complaints. Hear me out. Like I said, one of the complaints there are a few sexualized jokes, because this is still produced by Michael Bay, even though he hasn't directed, but it doesn't get to the point, it doesn't get as overbearing as it did in some of the later Transformers movies before this, and it doesn't become too much of a big deal. And another one of the best parts I forgot to mention was that there's no racist, stereotypical humor like in Revenge of the Fallen, because the red car and the green car in Revenge of the Fallen, they were pretty racist in Revenge of the Fallen. Even though some of the stuff they said were funny, most of it was like stereotypical. But that was one of the complaints I have, was that some of the humor does get a little carried away. Also, the second complaint I did say is that John Cena, he's good in this movie, but he's basically playing the lieutenant who's just after Bumblebee, pretty much. But other than that, those are really the only two things I can think of that I have wrong with. I don't really have much problems with this one, as much as I do the other Transformers movies, or not even The Last Night, which I still don't like after giving it rewatches. Like I said, one of the complaints there are a few sexualized jokes, because this is still produced by Michael Bay, even though he hasn't directed, but it doesn't get to the point, it doesn't get as overbearing as it did in some of the later Transformers movies before this, and it doesn't become too much of a big deal. And another one of the best parts I forgot to mention was that there's no racist, stereotypical humor like in Revenge of the Fallen, because the red car and the green car in Revenge of the Fallen, they were pretty racist in Revenge of the Fallen. Even though some of the stuff they said were funny, most of it was like stereotypical. But that was one of the complaints I have, was that some of the humor does get a little carried away. Also, the second complaint I did say is that John Cena, he's good in this movie, but he's basically playing the lieutenant who's just after Bumblebee, pretty much. But other than that, those are really the only two things I can think of that I have wrong with. I don't really have much problems with this one, as much as I do the other Transformers movies, or not even The Last Knight, which I still don't like after giving it a rewatch. But my overall thoughts on Bumblebee. I thought Bumblebee was really not only very surprising, but it brought back a sense of wonder and a sense of humor to the Transformers series. This is my second favorite Transformers movie, because the first one is always going to be the best, from 2007. Really enjoyed everything in this movie. The power of Hailee Steinfeld's acting and the chemistry between her and Bumblebee, and the fantastic direction and emotional depth to it and humor really does make this movie a winner. And this is definitely going to be on my best movies 2018 video. It is going to be pretty high. I won't say where, you just have to wait so I do that. But if I have to think of what I would give Bumblebee, I would give Bumblebee a better than Vampire Academy. For all the stuff I just mentioned, plus the fact that this is brought back my interest in the Transformers series, because as they were going along, I was like, yeah, I'm excited, but you're basically doing the same exact thing over again. And now, because of this movie, we can get even more great Transformers movies like this. It was not directed by Michael Bay, so that is I'm pretty happy. And as far as how I would rank the Transformers franchise, there are 6 films, live action films, but I know there's a film from the 1980s, which is the cartoon, but I haven't really seen that version. But in 6th place, at the bottom of the barrel, we have Transformers 5, The Last Knight. Number 6 is Transformers The Last Knight. And number 5, we have Transformers Dark of the Moon, the third one. Number 4 is Revenge of the Fallen, the second one. Number 3 is Transformers Age of Extinction. And number 2 is Bumblebee. And number 1 is Transformers 2007. So that is basically my ranking of the Transformers films now, and that was my review of Bumblebee. I'm very impressed with Bumblebee. I will definitely own this in my home video collection. I don't care if it's a combo pack. I still take it. Let me know what you guys think of Bumblebee down below. Do you like it? Do you hate it? What's your favorite Transformers film? What's your least favorite Transformers film? What is your favorite film with Hailee Steinfeld? It can be The Age of 17. It can be Pitch Perfect 2 or 3. Any film she's been in, use that. But as always, thank you guys for watching. I'm glad I finally gave you my review of Bumblebee, because I knew you guys have been waiting for it. Be sure to follow all my social media links. Be sure to use the hashtags FutureFilmmaker39480 to run to 1K subscribers. And the new hashtag, join the epitasticness. I'll see you guys in the next video. You guys keep it cool. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.